Whoa! Let's get to it. The Raiders. You know that had to come. Shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bus Life, Mondo Black TV. Welcome to HDII TV, Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez. Let's get into the Raiders. The Raiders. Now, Mark Davis took over for Al, his son, and it's now his team, his baby. Let me tell you what's been going on behind the scenes that you didn't know. When all of this was happening, Mark Davis is a huge Tom Brady fan. The way the Patriots played, he loved it. He wanted the Patriot way over there where he's at now. And he's always wanted the Patriot way. But the main problem is this isn't what he signed up for. This isn't the look of the franchise he likes. He doesn't like the play calls. He didn't like the decisions. He didn't like the inconsistency and how terrible the team was looking and how inferior they were looking. Now, Jon Gruden, in the Gruden situation, they wanted to get Jon Gruden out the NFL. And he did it in one of the most callous ways a human being could actually do it. And by doing so, he sued the NFL, and now the NFL and the Raiders, who are both culpable for the situation, are going to have to pay that man the $80 million left on his contract. Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler both came over there, and only Ziegler has about 80. No, not Ziegler. Josh McDaniels had about 80 million left on his contract, who they might have to swallow and pay out. He didn't care. He didn't care. Josh McDaniels had to go. That's how intense this was. So when Dave Ziegler, the general manager, was brought over, him and Josh McDaniels both were brought over from New England. Here's the part you didn't know. Well, you probably know. This was supposed to include Tom Brady. All three of those guys are supposed to go over to the Raiders. Tom Brady retired. It was going to be done with football. Right? Now the Raiders' job had opened up. Josh was going over there, and they were convinced that Tom's getting a divorce. So the distraction of, being forced to retire, thrown on the table, is not going to be suffice. We're not going to have to worry about this problem anymore. I can land Tom. So, Dave, Josh McDaniels, Mark Davis, they would invite Tom out, talk with Tom. And this would have been ideal had they still been in the Bay Area. By them being in Vegas, Tom likes Vegas, it was a possibility. Tom said, let me think about it. They had Devontae Adams. They had one of the top running backs with Jacobs. the Raiders looked like they were turning the corner. They had one of the front four pass rushers and Crosby. This is a team that should be a lot better. Last year they were 6-11 because they could not land or convince Tom Brady to come to the team. When he tried to go to the 49ers before he went to Tampa, they were thinking about grabbing Tom Brady then. When they had Derek Carr, who they knew they kept far too long. Carr had command over the locker room. The players believed in him. He was one of them. His play was inconsistent, but he was one of them. He was a Raider. So they didn't want to part with him because the team loved him. And they have one of those games to say, maybe we can win with this guy. It just wasn't to be. This just goes to the legend, the story of Tom Brady even more. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. was just that damn good. He was just that damn good. And you might say, well, how do you know that? Why do you say that with such conviction? Because everybody tries to take away from Tom Brady and his greatness and his legacy. And what they find out is that there's more to it than they realized. Oh, Bill Belichick made Tom Brady. It was Belichick. Belichick directed him and told him what to do, and that's why Tom won. Without Belichick, he wouldn't have won. Those defenses win in the game, not Tom. Belichick. So now that Tom ain't been around Belichick, he's starting to see what's happening to the Patriots. They can't score. They're struggling to find a replacement quarterback. It's a carousel of quarterbacks jumping in for quarters, and and it's just a mess. Then you have Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels made Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't throwing the ball like that till he got Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels, he's the one going up there designing all these plays. Now you see Josh McDaniels has had 2 head coaching jobs. He turned down the coach jobs after the day before he was supposed to go to the podium and announce that he was the new head coach. The coach saw that as the day before he was going to take the podium and announce and cancel and say he's staying with New England was the most disheartening and most, I would say, devious things you've ever seen a person do, especially in that situation. Now, him going over to the Raiders with Dave was supposed to usher in a new era. The play calling sucked. He had no control over his team. Tom Brady is just greatness. That's what made it work. Wasn't Josh McDaniels. They have to collaborate on what plays to run. It's Tom that's out there that's making that decision. It's Tom that's getting the best out of C-rated wide receivers. It's Tom Brady who's coaching them up. who's saying in the off season we're gonna work out. I'm taking time out for my family. And I got millions of dollars. I don't have to do any of this. But I want to win. I don't want to go into the season not giving myself the shot to win a Super Bowl. I'm not doing that. Now, when you see, I would say 14 different people come around you and say, hey, you should join the Raiders, and Tom Brady still turns them down, there's something he saw that made him say, nah, it's not fit. I don't want to come back to this. He didn't see the pieces. Tom Brady evaluated the Las Vegas Raiders and saw they weren't a good fit. The Miami Dolphins wanted Tom Brady. All he had to do was come in, Tua would be on the bench. And this is before they had Tyreek Hill. They wanted Tom. So it was like, well, Tom, you can go to play for the Miami Dolphins or the Raiders. Brady decided, I'm done. I just don't feel it. I just don't feel like, even though you feel like I can still play, just don't feel like the learning the new plays, going through that right now, I just don't feel like doing it. So let someone else take the reins. I'm done. So they couldn't land Tom Brady. The Raiders were very convinced they were going to land Tom to put them behind the 8 ball on what they were going to do at quarterback. But they knew they were getting rid of Derek Carr, no matter what, at the end of the season last year. This wasn't Josh McDaniels' guy. They had no intentions, him and Dave, of keeping him. They kept him the first season because they were waiting on Brady. And that didn't pan out. So now, what's the next best thing? They couldn't find an option. They grabbed somebody that was last minute. The 49ers was trying to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Their quarterback that they signed that they didn't want. And only due to injury did he get his job back. That's not the guy that they were thinking about. This is the quarterback of our future. No, he was not. The Raiders has proven constantly, over and over again, the inconsistency of the franchise is very well announced. It's imminent. They have been a laughingstock for years. Josh McDaniels and Dave, both of those guys have combined to win 9 games out of 25 games they've played. Josh McDaniels has probably had the shortest run for anybody who was hired to be a head coach twice in the NFL. They were 6-11 last year. They're 3-5 right now this season. And after that Monday Night Football collapse, that was all you needed to see. Mark Davis walks in and says, after much thought, about what the Raiders need to move forward, I've decided to part ways with Josh and Dave. I want to thank them both for their hard work and wish them and their families nothing but the best. That's not what he does. He wants to wish them. He wish they both jump off a goddamn cliff and go get up. Because you got his team looking the worst it's probably ever been in history, and the players are unhappy. Linebackers coach Antonio Pierce is going to take over the team. Champ Kelly, who is the assistant general manager, is going to replace Ziegler for at least the rest of the season. And, Davante Adams is tired of not getting the ball when he wants to get the ball. And the inconsistent play, the inconsistent offensive line, they have been one of the worst offensive teams in the NFL this season. And that's saying something when the Chicago Bears are out there. Now, McDaniels was hired with the hope that his rich offense pedigree as the longtime coordinator with the Patriots, that was going to transition over into Vegas. But, like I told you, a lot of that was Tom. Him and Tom would collaborate on what they're going to run. And it's up to Tom when he got his wristband, when he lifts up his damn wristband and make his plays on what it is he wants to do and what he wants to run. That's what it is. The offense regressed under the stewardship of Josh McDaniels. And Davante Adams and Josh McDaniels didn't get along. Y'all had a rushing leader in Josh Jacobs from Alabama. An NFL rushing leader. All reduced. Looked real good when old Gruden was in there, though. Right? So McDaniels has also failed to get much out of Derek's Carr replacement, Jimmy Garoppolo, and he ranks as one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. A guy the 49ers chose to keep over getting and acquiring Tom Brady. Keep that in mind. And that's why that team's cursed. Now, with Josh McDaniels no longer in the picture, the door opened up for a rookie quarterback to come in. They got Aiden O'Connell. I keep saying O'Donnell every time I say his name. So they're going to bring him in probably later in the season so he can get used to being, get some snaps under center because Jimmy's probably going to be moved. Jimmy's been very inconsistent. But this has been him at his job. Well, the Raiders are leading to just starting the rookie. But the season isn't over yet. You don't just throw the rookie out there. You're 3-5. You're not eliminated of anything yet. So you can still rally behind the new coach, a newer direction, and see where it brings you. So you could always take that, position and move in that direction. So that's what I would do if somebody else was looking to grow the team. That's the direction they would go. Now, because they move backfired, they moved backfired. So now they got to figure it out. That's the next stage. That is the next level, the next stage of the debacle. But we'll see what it reads. So right now, I'm out. I'm gonna get up out of here. I'll holler at y'all later. Deuces.